Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Charles Harper, and I am doing this a little more impromptu than I normally do. And I really have not really done a weekend Q&A call for a little while. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I have been uh, engaged in that I think will be relevant to you, as an online marketer. And in some cases, you may have seen that, you've been doing a sale this week, and what I'm using the proceeds of that sale to do, and it's all, of course, going towards me, right? But I'm really using that to kind of fund some expansion. And in order to expand into this area of research, I really have to give myself a little more bandwidth to to kind of focus, number one, on my dissertation. Number two is the research. And I think the research actually is relevant to what it is we do. And I found this research quite by accident. It was in an assignment that Laura was doing, and she came across a term called necessity entrepreneurship. And quite honestly, sometimes academia, they will come up with terms and it will try to define things that are, regular people are doing and then try to stick a term on it. But this is not one of those things. This is uh, a group of, I wouldn't say a group. There's a branch of leadership and entrepreneurial academics, and they have been studying this idea that some entrepreneurs are what are called necessity entrepreneurs. In other words, they do entrepreneurship because, maybe they lost a job, maybe they're not getting paid enough in their job, maybe they need to increase their income, maybe there's some necessity, there's some element that they found that entrepreneurship gives them that is driving them, even though they are coming to entrepreneurship with constraints. Maybe their constraints are their time. Maybe their constraints are the amount of income they have, the amount of capital they can put in. But they are coming to entrepreneurship with a totally different mindset. And most of your customers, those are the people that are doing internet marketing. They are probably going to fall into that broad category of people that academics who have studied these things called necessity entrepreneurs. And now here's why any of that's important. Not the fact that it's been studied, but the fact that there's some similarities to people who have these elements, whether you go to the jungles of Tanzania, to Denmark, there's some similarities about people who come to entrepreneurship in some way based on necessity. There's some behaviors that they exhibit. And again, these are going to be your customers, right? And so some of the things that you may be frustrated when you're trying to get your customers to do them, it's not that they don't have the ability to do it. It's not that they have, let's say, shiny object syndrome and that they aren't paying attention to you. It's really because their whole orientation is different and they're like a lot of people. And one of the things I've kind of come to understand about some corners of what it is that we do. Depending on who you listen to, you may have even heard that, listen, if the person's not going to do the work, you can't worry about it once you've sold it to them. You can't worry about whether or not they're going to do it. And that's very much going to be true. That being said, there are elements that you can add into some of your courses. There are elements that you can add into some of your coaching to help people to be successful. And one of the things about, our business is that if people gain success in some area, they will then come back to you for other areas. And so it is a longer term approach to what it is that we do that is I think the connection point between what we do and the research I'm doing. And so I really do want to kind of share with you, kind of as I go on this journey of completing my dissertation, of studying this one area, and then giving you, I think, some different ways of looking at online business, some different ways of how you want to run your online communities, and um, to treat everyone as an entre as an opportunity entrepreneur, which is basically just the other side of things. So in other words, there are necessity entrepreneurs and opportunity entrepreneurs, and obviously some people come to entrepreneurship because they see an opportunity. and maybe they've been working full time, or maybe they're retired, and they see, wow, this could really be lucrative. I'm going to take an investment of my time, an investment of my money. I'm going to put it into this because I see the opportunity, and I'm going to go for it right in there. That's how they come to, and some people who come to even our area of internet marketing, you're going to find that they think differently. You're going to find that they think in a growth mindset more so than people who maybe come to it based on necessity. And so if you're coaching both groups, you're going to find group one, which is necessity entrepreneurs, they're going to act different than opportunity entrepreneurs. And I want to look through one of the elements that I have here, and I'm gonna look at my screen, which I don't like to do, but I do want to kind of get to one of these elements, and I want to find one of the notes. Okay, so um, one of the things that necessity entrepreneurs do almost by habit is they kind of focus a lot on their constraints. And so because they focus a lot on their constraints, they are overly aware of the limitation of their skills. So in other words, they view their skill building as finite. And so the easiest thing to sell to people who believe that their skills are finite is a step-by-step process. That's really why step-by-step processes sell incredibly well on Warrior Plus. They sell incredibly well on JVZoo, and they might even be appealing to you, right? You might be appealing. You might find them appealing if in some way you find you're thinking that you have some constraint and you can't grow your skills beyond a certain level. A step-by-step process is appealing because, hey, I can be profitable. I don't necessarily have to grow beyond my comfort zone. All I really have to do is follow these steps, and I can use my existing skills. I don't have to grow in this area. And so this is really why a lot of those courses, which again, there's nothing wrong with the courses, there's nothing wrong with these processes. They don't necessarily cause you to have to grow. They don't necessarily cause you to have to go beyond yourself. This is really why some of the people like out of all of the, let's say, guru and let's say, marketer coaches, um, there are some who sell things that are very expensive, and people continue to go back to them over and over again. It's really because, and I don't know whether they did this on purpose, they add in the element of personal development. Now, personal development is hard to sell to an entrepreneur because most of us come to this kind of thinking, well, we're looking for the step-by-step process. We're looking to get in the profit. We don't need any rah-rah stuff. We don't need any motivational stuff. But the fact of the matter is that if you can help your customer to overcome their belief that their skills are limited, their skills are capped, that not only can you teach them a step-by-step process, but you can also teach them how to grow. If you can do that, you will have a different level of coaching and a different level of being able to move people from point A to point B. Most people, most people cannot move from point A to point B just by going step by step, even though that's how we sell to them, right? And again, I know that's what we do. I know that is the and more than likely, if you're watching this on YouTube or replay, you're going to tell me that, well, yes, you can, because I did it. I did this step-by-step process and I got better at this. Most of the time, if you look over the course of years, step-by-step processes don't necessarily grow you, right? They can't get you to a point of income. And so one of the things that for those of you who um, you're building out learning centers, you're building out memberships, and you're giving people basically the step-by-step processes. Some of them, you're going to be teaching them how to use AI, and some people are going to use AI. Those things may or may not cause the person to grow. And a person who wants to go from point A to point B, if a person wants to grow their business as an entrepreneur, and you're going to help them, they're probably going to have to grow their level of skill. And so one of the elements that you have to include, I have to include in our coaching programs and in our courses is development element, right? Is an element of development. And again, I'm not just saying that you're telling me you can do it, go for it. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about literally a way to grow people's mindset to increase their skill level, right? So if you are coaching right now, and you really want to help the people who are going to be your students or who are your students, the technical aspect of what we're doing can only take them so far. It can only take them to so far in their business. It can only take them to so far in building a sustainable income. And most of us who were coaches and most of us who are teaching people in this market, that's really what we're basically trying to help people to do is we're teaching them to build a sustainable income. They're not going to be able to do it at the same level of skill that they are at right now. There is no way to step by step them through technical processes to give them the growth mindset they need in order to grow their business. And so that one little sort of dividing line, the difference between necessity and opportunity, because an opportunity entrepreneur comes to a business in a different mindset. They come with a growth mindset. They come knowing that there's going to be growth that they're going to have to do. They come knowing they're going to have to gain new skills, and they come ready, equipped to learn new skills, even if those new skills cause them to be unprofitable until they get the skill to cause them to grow. Necessity entrepreneurs come looking for the step-by-step process at the same level of skill to and some of this does have to do with conserving resources according to their constraints to move them from point A to point B. The only thing is that the point A to point B of a necessity entrepreneur is different than the point A to point B to a to an opportunity entrepreneur, right? It is a different track. And so if you look up in 2 years, you kind of feel like, well, I'm not really much further along in what I'm doing. A lot of it really has to do with really needing to change a mindset, right? I have been, I can honestly say, if you listen to me, I have never been big on mindset because I got my start in 2007, like everybody else in multi-level marketing. I was thinking, man, these people talking to me about mindset and all this other stuff. I don't want to be bothered with all that stuff. But mindset is big, right? And so, but there is an aspect of this that it's not gonna work in the same way, I'd say, as you know you might have learned in multi-level marketing, where I can't motivate you to grow. I've really got to show you how to change how you look at business, how you look at your constraints. Um, One of the things that I have talked about over the years is a way of looking at a constraining process, right? And so let me kind of walk you through that process now. Again, I'm not gonna hold you long. I haven't done, a training. I haven't really talked to you folks in a long time. I have been on a weekly, just to put a little bug in your ear. I do meet with Ultimate Insiders once a week. So I'd be happy to meet with you more personally. If you're an Ultimate Insider, I meet with you every Saturday at 6 o'clock, where you can talk to me about your business. I'll talk to you about your business on a little more intimate level. So this may feel a little impersonal. Um, can't help that, but the process. The process is called, they're the five, and you can go look to your favorite AI, and you can look for the theory of constraints. You can look for the 5 steps. Now, if you understand how to move through constraints using these 5 steps, these are the kinds of processes you can use to grow. So, step one is and the most important thing, and I talked about this on the insider call today, which is the most important thing, is to identify your constraint, right? What is it right now that is keeping you from being the kind of profitable that you want to be? yes, let's say that you're making the money you want to make, but you're working 18,000 hours to do it. You don't want to do that. So you have to, you probably have a really good idea as to what's keeping you from that same level of income with less time, right? You know what that is, what you got to do to get that. You may not know exactly how to get that. And so that's your constraint. Let's say that your constraint is you don't have enough people to outsource to, or you don't have a process, and you don't know who to outsource to. You don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it profitably. What's in your way right now of being profitable as you want to be is an outsourcing process. So that assumes then, let's say, when you know how to make sales, you know how to generate an income. It's just that it takes you too long. So your constraint is that, right? You don't have an operations process to make to help you to generate that income. So identifying your chief constraint. And if I were to ask you all the constraints, what are all the things right now in your online business that are keeping you from being the kind of profitable you want to be? You could probably come up with a list. And what I would do if I were coaching you, right now, let's just say I'm going to coach you right now. I don't have time to do it all with you, but I'll do it with you right now. If I were to ask you, what is the number one thing? What are the number one things right now of keeping you from being the kind of profitable you want to be? What would you say those things are? And this is kind of an advanced question. So this is not a question for a newbie to answer. Most of you who watch and listen to our training, you're not newbies. You have an idea of why your business isn't as profitable as you want it to be. You may not have wanted to face up to it, and this first step takes the most amount of courage because you got to face up to what you know. Some people I find when I talk to our ultimate insiders, I do our insider call, they know they should be doing less in their online business. They know they should be outsourcing some of it, but they don't want to face up to it. And so they're going to they'll go and they'll buy software. They'll go and they'll buy a magic method. They'll get into some partnership when all that is not facing up to the fact that you know you're doing too much in your business, right? Some people, um, their chief constraint is they have not focused on one market. They don't even know what the problems are. They're not only they're not at step one, they're at step minus one because they haven't yet focused on the market enough, getting into it deep enough to know who the customers are and what their problems are. And if you don't know that, right, you can't build an audience then, right? Everything is going to be based on accident. And again, I know that you can build, you can build sites and you can get affiliate income. It'll come magic. You can do SEO and all this other stuff. I I find all that to be very unreliable, just so you'll know, right? Anything that depends on the algorithm can be taken from you tomorrow, like that. Anything that depends on social media can be taken from you like that. So again, I know all that stuff works. I don't trust it, and I'm biased that way. So just so you'll know. So I have nothing against, um, affiliate income on the autopilot and all this other stuff. And review. I have no problem with that. I know it works. I don't trust it. So all that being said, I don't think there's any shortcut for having a network, right? A personal and professional network and an audience. But you can't build those things until you decide on who you want to serve. And so some people, their chief constraint, the number one thing keeping them from making money, that might be you watching this right now. You haven't committed to anybody. You haven't you want to you want to have a side piece. You want to have a boyfriend. You want to have two boyfriends, or in some cases, you want to have two girlfriends and a wife. And at some point, you've got to say, okay, you know what? I'm done running the field. I'm committing. And knowing that it could go bad. And so sometimes in online business, right, when we come to this as necessity entrepreneurs, we do that trying to hold on to two or three markets as security blanket. Well, this is what I'm going to do if it doesn't work out. This one doesn't work out. If this one doesn't work out, no, it does, at some point, one of the chief things you and I have to do to shift our thinking from being like a necessity entrepreneur to being more like an entrepreneur, opportunity entrepreneur is to focus, is to make a decision, is to say, even if this doesn't work, I'm going to follow it until I get it. So, and so for some people, that's the number one constraint. Step one in the theory of constraints is to figure out what your bottleneck is. Now, if you're already in a market, you've already committed, even if your commitment is to the make money online niche. I know a lot of people you are into the make money online niche. If that's your commitment, I still personally think you need to pick a niche within that. Right. But you can just be a make money online person. You can launch on Warrior Plus, JVZoo, do big launches, so you can figure out what your piece of the market is. That's cool. Um, but at some point, yeah, you have to in order to make the switch, right? It's a switch. The research says that there is a difference between an opportunity entrepreneur who understands growth, who understands what they have to do to grow, and a necessity entrepreneur who's the kind of person who looks at their constraints and the kind of person who thinks about their constraints. If this is you, I'm just telling you, what you may be doing is one of the things you may be doing is you may be holding on to different opportunities just in case the thing you're trying to commit to doesn't work. And you cannot do that. You got to ride it until it crashes. And that's a scary thing. And a lot of us don't necessarily want to do that, especially if we really need this to work. Right. And so the again, I know the problem with it. What if it doesn't work? What if I put all this time and effort into it? It doesn't work. Um, and I want to leave you with this thought. It could be that by trying to do five things, it's taking you so long, you're carrying these five things so long that you never quite get to the point where you find out whether or not that one thing is going to work. And so it takes you so long to get there that yes, you protected yourself sufficiently, but you didn't find out fast, right? And I know a lot of these things have to do with where your money is, how long you can hang in there, how much monetary stamina you have. I get that. Um, but if you want to make a switch in your brain from necessity to opportunity, one of the ways you can do that, one model you can use, and again, I have been training on this. I don't know if I can sell you a PLR product on this, and I may be taking the Ultimate Insiders through this process on a personal level, but it is the theory of constraints. I will take you through the five-step process. But the first step you got to take is, what is your chief constraint? What's keeping you from being as profitable as you need to be? And if the step for you right now is really that you have not committed to a market, then that's where you got to start, right? You may have to start there. And you gotta and you have to forsake all others until you figure out, hey, I've done everything I could possibly do with this thing. It's not the market. There's no market for this. Nobody wants to buy anything. I may be passionate about it, but nobody else is passionate about spending their money with this. And you found out that might be what you have to do, right? And then you move on to the next step. And actually, logically, you get there faster than if you try to hold on to three things at the same time. You inch forward, right, with all these things at once. You pick something and you go with it. Okay, so that's really it. I really didn't have anything much to kind of do today, so I will kind of leave you with that. I do want to remind you that we do have our kind of our sale. One URL of the courses that we have right now that are on sale is our consulting AI. Now, again, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you're watching this, make sure you get the Ultimate Insider link. These are not the Ultimate Insider links. You get a bigger discount than the one that I'm giving to people who are watching this right now. You can go to the PLR show, theplrshow.com/AICPB. That's our consulting PLR, right? That's everything in that funnel is now discounted for temporary. I will be raising that. Again, why I'm doing that is because I'm looking to give you the opportunity to complete your collection. At the same time, I then am going to take the proceeds from the sale and help me to get all the stuff I need for my research. And so that I can start doing this, maybe finish my dissertation on time and all the other stuff. So um, uh, there's a so for the next 60 days, I will temporarily discount everything. And so you got to be watching your email because I'm not going to promote this out on social media or anything. So, um, theplrshow.com/AI, AICPB, that's consulting. I think that the other one that I'm doing is Get Response. So that's the plrshow.com/GRTT, right? And then what's the last one? I can't remember what the last one is, but those are two of them. Make sure you check your email today and you'll see them. And again, if you're an Ultimate Insider, totally different link. So you will have access to a different level of discount. So you get way more than the public is getting for what they're doing. Okay, so feel free to interact with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a place where we can talk about some of these things. And I think as you give me feedback, that's going to help me as I learn more, right? As I dig deeper and do more interviewing with people and talk to people who have communities, then I will share with you what I am learning. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.